Ugh, this guy, sick. I'm sure you guys have seen this guy all over your feed in some way, shape, or form. Hi, I'm Sophia O. Leary. This is Red Hot Topics. Our Red Hot topic today is we're gonna talk about the war on women. I think it's, something that isn't being discussed enough, let alone there's not enough women who are speaking on the topic. It seems that a lot of people who have anything to say about the war on women are mostly men, which is kind of mind-blowing. For instance, if you're scrolling through TikTok, as we all do at some point in time in the day, I'm sure you guys have seen this guy all over your feed in some way, shape, or form.
Stand up right here and say I am sexist. Now, I don't mean that in a bad way, right? Because I'm sexist both.
We've all seen the Andrew Tate phenomenon. Honestly, I don't even know who he is. I just had to do a little bit more research to figure out how he got famous and why he's all over my TikTok. I'm definitely the person that says I'm not interested in these videos. It's not working. But, hearing somebody talk about how women are property or degrading women or how, the women that are in his life, he's got multiple of them or they're not allowed to drive his cars is probably one of the most irritating things to hear of, because right now there's literally a war on women. We're not able to have choice over our bodies in some states. There's laws being passed, and to hear somebody get on there and say, oh, it's, a man's life is so much harder. You are giving such a biased standpoint by even saying that, because you've never been a woman, for one, so how do you really know what they go through? And then number two, look at how you objectify and treat women, and yet you're going to say that your life is harder as a man. It isn't. Actually, just saying that alone proves the privilege that you have as a man to even just be able to speak that freely and to just, say that and have all of these people follow and look up to you. And I think that people don't understand the importance of the power that they have over social media, on the internet, and how those words carry throughout. As a female business owner, I can tell you that there's misogyny in the workplace, there's, sexism in the work. I mean, he even says, I'm sexist, but I'm sexist both ways, and that's a contradiction in itself. But listening to one of his videos, he talks about how he never allows his women to drive his cars. And his reasoning for that is that if he lets a guy borrow his car, they're going to fix the wrong and they're going to try to fix the vehicle if they do something to it, yet a woman wouldn't do that. I can tell you, as a woman, when I have borrowed a car or Turoed a vehicle or rented a car while I'm out of state or whatever the case may be, if there's something that's my fault, that's just a level of emotional and maturity. You know that you did the wrong, you take accountability for those actions, and you fix what you've done. I've done that for, any time I've ever been in a situation like that. I think he also talks about how women are not good drivers, which again, you are looking at it's an unbiased opinion, whether maybe you've seen women who are bad drivers, but again, there's two sides to everything. There's bad male drivers. I've been in the car with men who can't parallel park, and yet you're supposed to be the people who are better drivers. When you take something like that, and granted it might be small, it might be a little statement, but that turns into a bigger problem. That turns into other people thinking that behavior is okay. And that's what makes it harder on women to have equal opportunity, to have equal platforms, to have equal things to say. Even on TikTok and other platforms, it's ran by a majority of men. It's not, you're getting on there, you're seeing a bunch of female entrepreneurs who are, discussing topics about men. You don't see that. And I think that a lot of people don't understand that because they don't have that experience, so to speak. So I think that when men get on there and, have an opinion, that's all fine, that's all great. But again, you have an opinion on something that you have no right speaking to. The other thing, which I find just incredible, is that, well, where did that man come from? A woman. Granted, yeah, it's, your parent, they were in a relationship, sure, but you come from a woman. You automatically don't even have the same capability of a woman. But I look at people like that who are just so knee-jerk reactive to make a splash, to make a comment, to talk about how, oh, this is how I expect, this is what I expect, this is how women are supposed to behave. That's everything that is wrong with what is going on. There should be no expectations of a woman, just like there's not expectations of a man. Every single person has a different want or need or expectation of a partner, significant other, people in their life. That's a boundary. That's a, want or a need. And I just think that people are so quick to see something like that and be like, oh, well, yeah, he's right. But you're not right. Women go to work every day and they don't have the same opportunities. They're underpaid, they're undervalued. They don't get the same types of promotions that men get. If they're emotional in a workplace, they get told that they're a bitch or they're emotional or, they're PMSing or something has to be wrong with them for them to be an authoritative figure. But if a man's rude in the workplace or he's sexist or he's, overbearing or has an attitude or speaks with a demeaning tone, oh, he's just being a good boss. When you look at that and you spread that type of message, you have to understand, and maybe you don't understand it now, but you're giving that impression, and those people, like your future children will see those videos. What happens if you end up having a girl? That's the example that you are going to set for her. That's the example and the expectation that you're going to have for her. You're going to want her to amount to, nothing more than just being someone's wife or someone's property. There's so many things that are wrong with the world when people utilize their platform for things that don't carry any significance, value, or are going to impact somebody in some way, shape, or form in a positive light. All that spreading, and actually I was very impressed because I think he was on Barstool Sports, and even people talk a lot of shit about the CEO of Barstool or the guy who owns Barstool, right? And they think that he's kind of like that, but he literally is laughing that entire interview, and he's like, no, like that's not, I don't vibe with that. And he talks about, he's got so many different points. I think there was another video that he talks on where he's like, yeah, of course I want the 19-year-old who's undamaged by the world over the 27-year-old who's been ran, like, no, you are prying on somebody who doesn't even have 100% of their emotional and intellectual maturity, and their brain isn't fully developed. So you are prying on somebody and you're like, oh, I can make my impact on them. I can make an impression to make them a good person. Experience is what makes somebody a good or a bad person, let alone their morals and the people that they're around. You are a circumstance of your environment. So yes, you can have a detrimental impact on someone's future, whether it's good, whether it's bad. Your opinion of that does not matter. What you say, what you do, none of that matters. It is how that other person perceives it. But you're, saying that the 27-year-old woman, like, she's scarred, she's scorned, she's gone through all these men, she's got all these, whatever, and you're saying that you're going after, like, the innocence. That's actually incorrect. There's, 27-year-old women who are, just saving themselves for marriage or, just don't want to be in a relationship or value themselves more than their body. And when you literally make it that, like, oh, women lose their value based on how many people that they sleep with or how they appear on the internet, or, again, you are putting women in a box that just sexualizes them and just says, like, you're nothing more than your appearance. And that is what is wrong with the world. That is the war on women. It's just basically putting all of this crap into women's heads that, hey, you can't really amount to anything unless you're an attractive woman. If you're an attractive woman, you're gonna get more opportunity. If you're an attractive woman, you're gonna get the guy of your dreams who's rich, who's wealthy, who's this, who's that. And look, I'm not an idiot. I'm aware of the world that we live in. It's very superficial. It's very, oh, look at me, look at this, look at that. It's very materialistic. But again, sending those messages when your audience is so big is exactly what is wrong with the world. And I think if women stopped listening to that and, just took a stand on what they believed in and didn't lower their value to just what's on the outside, there would be such a better, more fulfilled type of person in the world. But the reason that women go through that is because the world tells you as a woman to be insecure. The world tells you as a woman what you can and cannot do. The world tells you as a woman what you have to do to appease a man or get a partner or, this. And now it can't continue to work that way. When you look at something so one-sided, you are never going to get the full spectrum. There are exceptions to every single rule if you just look at and study human nature. What the person wants over there is not what the person wants over there. You know, not everybody's attracted to the same type of person. Not everybody is just attracted to the exterior. Some people need, you know, mental connection. Some people need, you know, God, what do they call them? Sapiosexuals, right? You need intellectual intelligence in order to be attracted to that other person. So I think what people need to understand is, A, you should speak on topics that you're educated about or that you have personal experience from. Men automatically have a privilege, the fact that they're even speaking on women when they've never been a woman. You know, they've never gone through the struggles, the trials, the tribulations. They don't know what it's like. You know, being a young female entrepreneur, I have had men in high positions of power tell me that the only reason I got the meeting or got invited into the room is because they're hoping that they're going to get a date. It's not based on my intellect. It's not based on my work. It's not based on my company. It's because they're focused on one thing and one thing only. And again, I mean, saying that women are your property and viewing them as such a beneath being as you is so wrong. And the fact that, I mean, it's so narcissistic. And the fact that this guy has women around him all the time, I mean, all those people are doing are degrading themselves and sitting up there around that person saying, I accept this behavior. I accept these words about me, this treatment of me. And that's what you put out into the world, that you believe that that's your worth. When people are saying like, oh, webcam girls and OnlyFans and da-da-da-da-da, it is literally pushing. And again, there's nothing wrong with OnlyFans. You should do whatever you want to do. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I do. That's not what I want to do. But by saying that that's a woman's only option to be successful, or by saying if a woman does do that and she's with a partner, that she owes them some kind of the profit or something. If the roles were reversed, it wouldn't be the same. So again, that statement right there alone is just sexist. It's, you know, it's focused on one side. You know, people say, oh, well, you know, women have it easier. They just expect a guy to pay for everything. They expect a guy to be a wallet. He has to be the provider. He has to be this and this and that. Well, again, you have to look at the individual. Was that person raised on old school morals? Is that what they're interested in a partner? Are they looking for a provider while they're a nurturer, right? Every circumstance is going to be different, but it's not like that anymore. Women deserve just as much equal opportunity that men have. Women are powerful, they are creative, they are intelligent, they bring a lot more value than just their appearance. And, you know, when you say something so unintelligent about like, oh, I wouldn't let a woman drive my car, I mean, that proves that you value the materialistic item more than you value a human being. Thank you so much for watching. Again, this is Red Hot Topics. This is our first episode, or listening, right? This is gonna be a series that we roll out from here on out. We'll have guests, we'll have other things, and if you have any topics, leave them below.